You built this business. From your vision, you see the potential and the upside, and you assume that everyone on your team sees that vision too. They don't. And that gap between what you see and what they see, it's costing you every single day. And it's not a motivation problem. It is not a culture problem. It is a projection problem. And it starts with you, boss. CEOs, we're built differently. We think differently. We have high risk tolerance, which a lot of employees don't have. We have vision over stability. We're willing to push beyond what we believe can happen every single day. We have an ownership mentality that this has to go right. We have to get this done. We have to push a little differently because we know that on the other side is that result that we believe in. You're driven by something bigger. You know it's out there. And that wiring is exactly why you have the seat. You're the boss. That's how this all came together. But here's the trap, boss. You're projecting that belief, that excitement, that vision, and you are expecting that they feel it too, that they can see it too. You're expecting them to be just like you. And here's the big aha of all the things that I'm constantly working with other business owners on is to help them understand employees do think differently. And that's okay. We like that. But here's what we're doing. We constantly are looking for potential and that idea of what it could be. Because if I were them, I would love this opportunity. If I were them, I would be so lucky to be in this company right now while we're building. If I were them, I would want this opportunity. Why aren't they as excited as I am? Well, because your team is wired differently than you. They don't think like you. And it's actually by design, right? You don't need a team of CEOs. You'd have a team of competitors and butting heads and great ideas and people who thought outside the box but don't know how to build the box. Can I be honest? Like, we're not always great at the details of what we see and where we're going. That's okay. That's why we build a team around us. Here's the shift. You do need to understand what they actually want and how they think differently than you. It's not the fact that they think differently that's the problem. It's that you are assuming they want what you want. You keep projecting your own ideals of success, achievement, desire, happiness, fulfillment, purpose onto them. That's not going to work for you, boss. This is our issue. The majority of your team, they want stability over upside. Yeah, it would be great to get a check for $10 million when the company sells for 100 bajillion, but that's not really what they need today. They want to know that the company is stable and their job will be here today and tomorrow and at the end of the year. Stability over risk is a big differentiator for employees and CEOs. Clarity over vision. Yes, it sounds nice to say we're going to be in everybody's house or we're going to be on everybody's truck. We're going to be in everybody's grocery store, but that's a big vision. So really bring it down to we're going to produce X number of widgets in the next year. Tell me exactly what you need from me today is what they're asking. Not where we're going to be in 5 years. Not where we're going. What do I have to know today? What does success look like today? And they want recognition for now, not for someday. Hiring team for potential is killing your business. You need results today, and the team needs you to be able to break down what the steps are today so that you can get to that big, exciting opportunity in the future. So the company grows enough to offer that. A defined role over an open-ended opportunity is always going to be more appealing because people can measure whether that's valuable to who they are and what they want to be doing and what they need for their lives. A CEO, we work in ambiguity and there's a little excitement to that. But for most employees, that feels very unsafe, not knowing who, what, or when things are going to happen. Work that fits their life, not a life built around work. I'm not saying that might be us, but as business owners, We do work and then life fits in. For employees, they've got a life and they're trying to fit work in. It's a completely different way of approaching how they find success, how they find satisfaction. And we have to stop assuming that what we find valuable and successful and a good life is going to be the same definition for them. We just have to stop assuming. It's not making them bad employees. We're not going to go out and look for employees that find joy and satisfaction in the exact same things. That's not the point. It's that you have to stop assuming. We have to create space and opportunities and moments where we can understand what exactly success does look like for them. They're not wrong. They're just not you. And leading them like this is where things are starting to break down. This is where it can get a little frustrating for everybody because you believe that you're giving them the opportunity of a lifetime, and you may. But that's your lifetime, that you're seeing the potential and you can see that they've got all the skills so that they'll be able to do things in the future when the company gets there. They, one, may not even see that in themselves, but more importantly, it's too far out. They need to know what to do today. And we have to be able to bring that into where we are today. So, if you are making announcements about an exciting new change or direction and the team looks nervous or not energized, they start to shift around. If you offer someone a big stretch opportunity, a project they could lead, and they hesitate or ask 1,000 clarifying questions instead of jumping, that's not a bad thing. That's them taking the time to tell you what they need to be successful. You can cast vision and you're all hands on deck. Let's get together and I see it like this, and you will feel fired up and they are applauding because they feel your energy. But then they go back to their desks and they're trying to figure out how they fit into that vision. They don't understand it that way. And you mistake silence for agreement because they don't want to go, I see you're excited, but I don't get it. It's a hard thing to say to the CEO in those moments of excitement. And honestly, we don't need them to. That's not their job to question you. As a leader, it is your job to understand what they think success looks like. You assume that they want what you want. They don't. You assume that they want it the way you would want it. They don't. You assume that they would make the choices that you make every single day. If they did, they'd be a business owner and they'd be over there, not on your team here. That projection trap, that belief that they must think and do and want and desire what you do, think, and desire, I will tell you, it's showing up in the way you communicate and it's shutting them down. It shows up in how you motivate them because you devalue the things that they might value. It shows up in who you promote and why, which can be good or bad depending on where we're going with the business. But are you promoting someone that wants to be promoted? And it shows up in why some of your best people will leave for what looks like a smaller job right when your company's about to go big. The gap between what you think your team feels and what they actually feel, that's where your best future loving, excited plans, they go to die. It's sad, I know. Here's the bad news. It's true for your whole team, right? They all have different things that they value and get excited about and desire in their careers. And it's not going to look exactly like the way you're building your business. Every person on your payroll has priorities, motivations, and fears that are different than yours. And as a CEO, your job is to lead them, not the version of them that you've invented in your head, but who they actually are and what they actually desire from jobs and careers in your company. And here's where it gets really important. There's one person on your team where this blind spot isn't just costly, it's dangerous. The person your entire growth strategy runs through, right? That person you're counting on to lead when you can't be everywhere, you're second in command. If your team's not wired like you, what makes you think your number two is wired like you? That your second in command actually wants what you want? Understanding the difference between leadership mindset and employee mindset, it's really important. But it's also important to make sure that you're not projecting your ideals onto people that may or may not be there when you want them to step into those next level roles. What makes you certain that they're still planning to be here when you need them? And that future that you've been planning in your mind with all of the assumption about all the potential and all the great things that you want and desire for the team. I know this comes from a good place. You want them to have all the goodness. But that assumption is based on your decisions, your ideals, your motivations. We have to make it about them if we really want them to be there when we want them. If they're not wired like you, what makes you think your second in command is wired like you? That role that you've quietly assigned to them, they're going to succeed me. They're my mini me. They're going to walk behind me, walk my path, and deliver on this legacy that I have built. It's going to be beautiful and exciting. That assumption right there is exactly what we're talking about in our next masterclass. Don't let your second in command disappear on you. This is something that we are experiencing with our clients time and time again. They come to us because they made a big plan, but the person they need wasn't there when they needed them. We're going deep on why this blind spot is most dangerous with your second in command and exactly what to do about it. Make sure you sign up, make sure you show up, and make sure you set it up so your future turns out the way you envision. Stop assuming, boss. Boss on.